Okay, welcome to my video commentary for Vigilant Guardian Mythic. So in this boss I played Necrolord Frost with Slick Ice and Splitting Ice. I'm going to assume you know how this boss works on Heroic. I'm going to assume you know how Frost Mage works as well, and just focus on explaining this boss for Mythic. So right away you'll notice there's a very simple yet impactful change on this boss on Mythic in that the boss itself is active from the very start. It's not actually that relevant. It doesn't really change a lot. You should still spend most of the phase focusing ads, but there's a couple of ads that are more important than others. So if you use Plater, which you probably should, I do recommend you change the nameplate colors of the sentries because they're the most important ads to kill. Everything else, you kind of make a judgment call. If there's lots of ads up, you focus the ads. If they're here, there's only one ad up, so I'm gonna focus the boss. But the sentries are the real ads that you need to focus down. So, like a lot of bosses, this is one of those bosses where there are heroic mechanics that are just more important. The big one being the debuff that you need to move out, where you spawn 5 of these orb-looking things. So you can see in the bottom right there, our rogue is running out with that mechanic. If you just pay attention to the bottom right, it'll spawn those 5 orbs. It's a mechanic on Heroic as well. On Mythic, those orbs spawn very quickly. The danger is not the person with the debuff, it's the person with the debuff killing somebody else, because if they're close to you and they spawn an orb on you, you have very little time to dodge. But other than that, the other main mechanic is the traps. I recommend that you have one person assigned to those traps. Don't just YOLO them. Don't just stand in them whenever. Just make sure you have a person that's coordinated and is always popping the traps. You do have certain parts of the fight where you can YOLO the traps, but I recommend letting your healers decide when that is. So whenever the shield finishes, make sure you focus the ad in the shield. He beams somebody. You might not have noticed on Heroic. It does a lot of damage on Mythic. If he doesn't die in, I don't know, 5-10 seconds, he's probably going to beam somebody. So you can see here, there's a lot of ads up. There's a sentry up. I've colored it in pink on my nameplates. So always focus that sentry whenever it's up. So this is the debuff I was talking about that's quite dangerous. You can see I alter time and I go really, really far. If one of those orbs spawns on top of somebody, our boomkin there was already pre-moving, but it can be really, really sketchy. See, sentry goes down, I hit the boss for a bit, and then I'll hopefully switch to this other sentry and stop being a DPS whore. The boss damage doesn't really matter, so one thing is whenever you put the cores in, the boss does lose a lot of his health. The thing is, if you push him to phase 3 health or phase 2 health percent before you're done with the cores, like you're just in phase 2 and like the core mechanic is just gone. One thing you can do to cheese boss HP is get the 3rd core, push the boss into phase 3, and then use the core, and then you just take away a chunk of the boss's health. But honestly, it's the first boss. The boss is quite easy. It's maybe not worth min-maxing it that hard, but if you do accidentally end up in that situation, it's something you can do. If the ads are in the shield, even if they're important, don't bother hitting them. They should be out of the shield. You can see here, I'm going to focus the sentry. Even on our progress kill, we were finding we had too much boss damage. I think this is our progress kill. It might not be, but the first time we killed the boss, we actually had too much damage. So it can be quite easy to cheese. Again, make sure the sentry dies fast. Another thing to color the nameplate on is these shield mobs. Like you can see here, it does a lot of damage. If that cast finishes, it probably just kills somebody. But yeah, you can see my raids DPS whoring and ignoring it. Here, lots of ads up, so I'm going to focus on them. Make sure you're kicking far ads as well. Your melee are probably ooga booged on either the sentry or the guardian, and they might not notice things that are far. So you trap spawn on me, move away from them. But overall, not a super challenging boss. Like I said, just focus those sentries. If there's not very many ads up that aren't sentries, you can milk a bit of boss damage, keep your kicks up. You see here, it's good to do the traps in bulks. You see, we're doing 2 at a time. I think on our last kill we just completely yielded it, which is quite easy. Dodge shit on the floor, and yeah, it's this debuff here is the most important thing. Like I think on our progress kill we had several people die to it. Yeah, and you see there our other mage does die to it as well. If you're actually close to people, they're fine because the danger is that the 5 circles go out and hit people far away. So if you are close to people, they are safe. It's the people that are far away. You don't want to be like a medium distance from people because then you'll snipe them with the circles, which is what happened there. Necrolord Frost is really good on this boss. The first phase is just all cleave AoE with a priority target, which Frost is good at, and then the DPS check at the end. DPS check is like Patrick just stand still, smack the boss, which is also quite good for Frost. So I think here is what I was talking about. Are we not getting the last core? Yeah. So we push the boss into the next phase so early that we just don't get that last shield mechanic. Yeah, and like we still have 3 people dead, and we're still going to make it. So not worth maximizing DPS super hard. I think as first boss is go, this is okay. It's no Hellfire Assault. It keeps getting compared to Hellfire Assault, but you can speed this boss up, which helps a lot. Once the boss stops doing anything and you transition into the last phase, you can just stop playing mechanics. There'll be traps up, but just like don't care. They don't matter. Yeah. That's kind of the boss. So you can see here in the top left, people going out with the Matter Dissolutions. Always be aware of where they're going. They might go on a mobile class. They might go on somebody whose mobility spells are on cooldown. So, put work in yourself. Make sure you move away from them too if you need to. Obviously, that doesn't really work if you're standing in the raid, but it's just something to keep in mind. Because I think that's... Yeah, you can see 2 more go out here. I think that was the number 1 cause of deaths across all of our progress. And, well, our one... progress kill and our reclears is usually we have people die to that every time. So boss goes to 15%. You lost. I probably should have saved Deathborn for it, but I didn't think it was going to be a DPS check at all. I just kind of wanted to get the boss into the AFK phase as soon as possible. And yeah, I don't think we pulled this boss more than a couple of times, so I didn't really have super optimized cooldowns for it. But yeah, fairly simple boss. It's okay. Don't have very strong opinions on it. As far as specs go, I think Arcane is also good on this boss, but I don't know. I would avoid fire as I would on many bosses. But yeah, it's decent. And you see here, 3 people dead. It's no real problem. So just focus on living. Focus on not scuffing those Matter Dissolutions. Focus on not standing on traps, not killing other people. And yeah, boss will flop. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, obviously it's a simple boss, but I am making commentary videos for the later bosses. Hopefully they're a bit more interesting and you can learn a bit more from those. But yeah, recommend you check those out as well. And yeah, like, comment, and subscribe.